Hi there, welcome once again to the Dukascopy TV studio. I'm Ben Jones. Alongside me to discuss Swiss neutrality is Dr. Daniel Warner. Dr. Daniel, thank you very much once again for coming into the studio.
Nice to be here, Ben.
So, if we can begin by discussing Swiss neutrality very generally, there's a debate going on recently about their membership in international organisations like the European Union and the United Nations, saying that this goes against their historic neutrality. Can you elaborate on this for us?
Well, historically, Switzerland was neutral starting in 1815 in the Congress of Vienna. And it's something that's written in the Constitution and something the Swiss people feel very strongly about. Now, it took a long time for Switzerland to be a member of the United Nations. Even in Geneva, they voted against it. But finally, Switzerland is a member of the United Nations. Now the argument is, should they be a member of the Security Council if that possibility comes up? The same question comes up with the EU. They are not members of the EU. They are not members of NATO. So what does that neutrality mean? And in certain situations, such as the sanctions with the Russian Federation, this causes definite problems.
Now, with these sanctions, what is Switzerland's current stance and what challenges do they bring to their neutrality?
They're enormous challenges. And this happens to fall at a very strange time for Switzerland. Number one, Switzerland and the Russian Federation are celebrating 200 years of collaboration. 200 years. And the head of the Duma was supposed to be coming to Bern to visit the Swiss Parliament. That has been put on hold, as well as certain Russian aircraft was supposed to be in an air show that took place last week. So the relations with Russia have always been very good. Remember that Switzerland represents Russia in Georgia, as it represents Georgia in Moscow. So that's a historic thing. On the other hand, Switzerland has certain interests with the European Union. And we know that the vote of February 9th in Switzerland against mass migration has caused certain tensions. So Switzerland wants to be on the side with Russia. It serves a very, very close relationship historically. It wants to be close to the EU to deal with those problems. And here they are with this neutrality problem, whether they follow the sanctions or whether they don't. For the moment, the declaration is they will not follow the sanctions. If Switzerland does not follow the sanctions, Ben, does that mean that people who have money in other places who are sanctioned by other countries, is that money going to come to Switzerland? And the Swiss government has made it clear that Switzerland should not profit from the fact that sanctions have been put against certain individuals and companies.
Okay, now looking into the future though, do you see any involvement from Switzerland in these sanctions, and if so, to what extent?
The last thing that I should mention is that Switzerland in 2014 is the chairman in office of the OSCE, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. So it is responsible for certain mediation between the Russian Federation, Ukraine, etc. So it cannot take a position on the sanctions. If it took a position for the sanctions, the Russian Federation would say, you can't do that as a moderator. So Switzerland will try as best it can not to have any sanctions, but of course the EU is its major trading partner. So it's not simple for Switzerland to maintain its neutrality in the current situation. But I would be very surprised if they went along with any sanctions.
Okay, and with that, with no involvement, what effect could this have if sanctions do increase, or the current sanctions? What effect will this have on banking in Switzerland?
The point is, and the Swiss government has said, we will not profit from sanctions in other places. We know that Swiss cheese is now being sent to Russia. Whether money is coming from people or companies that are being sanctioned in other places, that should not happen. How it can be stopped is a technical question I can't answer. But Switzerland, according to the government, should not profit from the sanctions against people and companies in other countries.
Dr. Warner, once again, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Ben.
And thank you for watching. Do make sure you keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV, as we'll be bringing you plenty more updates and exclusive interviews. Bye for now.